Good evening on Politics HQ tonight. These are the stories that made our headlines. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has released the updated voter register and list of registered political parties ahead of the Rivers State local government elections set for August 9th, 2025. In a March 13 letter, INEC formally notified the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission confirming the release of a soft copy of the voters' register. RISEC, in a statement signed by the Commissioner for Media, Civic Education and Public Affairs, assured stakeholders of its commitment to a free and fair election. The approved parties include the APC, the PDP, APP, and LP, amongst others, as preparation intensify ahead of the polls. Let's also tell you that the Court of Appeal in Abuja has put on hold on the enforcement of its judgment upholding the Kano State government's repeal of the 2019 Emirate Council law pending a Supreme Court ruling. In a unanimous decision, a three-member panel led by Justice Okon Abang ruled that the status quo must be maintained, effectively freezing Sanusi Lamido Sanusi's reinstatement as the 16th Emir of Kano. The ruling follows an appeal by Alhaji Aminu Baba Dan, who challenged the dissolution of the newly created Emirate, arguing that the trial court lacked jurisdiction. The appellate court restrained the Kano state government and security agencies from implementing the January 10th judgment, which had annulled the creation of 5 new Emirates and reinstated Sanusi. With a Supreme Court appeal pending, the legal battle over Kano Emirate remains unresolved, leaving the traditional leadership in limbo. However, our focus tonight, Rivers political crisis, APC factions at war over threat to impeach Fubara. Also, at some point on the show, we will be switching gears to talk about the NNPP, as NNPP faults El Rufai's sponsorship claims and demands apology. I am Dapo Adigboyi. Welcome. Let's get the answers. The Rivers State political crisis is intensifying with two factions of the All Progressives Congress, that's the APC, at odds over the threat to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara. The Tony Okocha-led faction is pushing for Fubara's resignation or impeachment, citing alleged offences. However, the Emeka Beke-led faction, loyal to former Governor Rotimi Amaechi, has dismissed Okocha's claim as baseless and resisted the impeachment threat. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party has condemned the APC's actions, describing the impeachment threat as a Greek gift. The PDP has also accused the APC of trying to destabilize the party or the state government. The crisis has highlighted the deep-seated division within the APC in Rivers State, with factions loyal to different political leaders vying for control. This situation remains volatile, with potential implication for the state's governance and stability. Well, joining me right now to discuss this is Malachy Ugwummadu. He is a legal practitioner and a former president, Committee for Defense of Human Rights. He joins virtually. Thank you for your time, Malachy. Now, let me start by asking you, Malachy, what do you make of the Supreme Court judgment, particularly in the interest of peace in Rivers State?
Well, the Supreme Court judgment has come. It's been delivered. And the purport of it is very clear and succinct. It took advantage of the issues that were brought before it to deal with a couple of questions. The first was the authenticity, if you like, the validity of the Martin Amaechi-led State House of Assembly. The second was to nullify, as it were, the local government elections into the local government councils in Rivers State. And of course, was a consequential order, what we call consequential order in law, which is to the effect that the governor had been mandated to represent the 2025 appropriation law, which was a bill before the Assembly, and that once that is done, there won't be the peace you talk about. But if that is declined, that is refused to be done, then the council funds or the money standing to the credit of the local government councils will continue to be withheld. And the Attorney General of the Federation, the Accountant General of the Federation, as well as the Attorney General were mandated to ensure that that is exactly what the position will be. So, by and large, you could see a judgment that dealt with the issues, what we call the tried issues that came before the court. But some of us thought and sincerely believed that given the transgressions already witnessed in Rivers State, particularly the trajectory of this whole crisis, and considering the political culture of defection, which in my view amounted to the campus departure, that issue ought to be frontally dealt with, just so that the Supreme Court took advantage of the same case to put to rest once and for all this whole political indiscipline, or the indiscipline of the political actors in our client, and give a proper direction with respect to what happened in Rivers State. So what played out are two things. One, it is believed that the matter is still traveling all the way from the Federal High Court, and that issue of defection is still pending, and that when it comes to the Supreme Court, that could be handled. That's one way to look at it. That's okay. But the second aspect of the whole big picture is that it meant well to say, well, that is how to deal with it. But given what is happening in Rivers State today, given the fact that their defection was not just a public exercise, but overtly comprehended to have been what has happened. The Supreme Court, being a court of law and a court of policy, needed to intervene in a way that gave a direction. So they merely dealt with the technicalities and then harped on the technicalities rather than the justice of the matter as far as I'm concerned. The technicality of that matter was that you can only talk of defection if you can establish the existence of the name of the members of the State House of Assembly in the registry of the new political party they defected to. Once that did not happen, it is immaterial whether they had a fanfare, a press statement, a public ceremony to herald their defection. But you could see, we'll wait and see the position they will take when the matter comes up, if it will ever come up to the Supreme Court, because that has been a very big pain in the political, the democratization effort in the country. I remember doing an article several years ago when this whole gale of defection started, captured the camp as departure. It's very easy for them because there are no ideological lines around the politics we play in Nigeria. And so a politician can be in Party A in the morning, and in the afternoon he's in Party B, and in the evening he jumps to Party C. That has implication, and it is not healthy for the growth and consolidation of democratic principles. It is precisely for that reason that you have Section 68, Subsection 1G, that characterize the only circumstance in which members of the parliament, members of the legislative branch.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, you've said quite a number of things, and from your analysis, you seem to infer that the ruling by the court is pretty much fair. But again, you also did make mention of the issue of defection, which is the, if not the core of all of this back and forth. But my question to you is this: what is the implication of this on political precedents, right? Because we know that more often than not, when issues like this arise politically, they make reference to it, if it ever happened in the past. So what political precedents, are we seeing being set up or, put in motion as a result of what we have seen unfold before us?
The first is the certainty of the leadership of the State House of Assembly. So you are able to tell from the decision of the Supreme Court how the leadership, disputed leadership of the State House of Assembly can be ascertained. So the Rivers State case has made it clear. The second is the implication, or rather the consequence of an effective separation of power within a state, and I imagine by extension in the country. In the case of the state, you could see that to a large extent, this disputation that ended at the Supreme Court has clearly established the power of the State House of Assembly to determine and take full charge of the budgeting and appropriation processes. And it has come to a certain conclusive end that except the governor presents the appropriation bill to the properly constituted State House of Assembly, he does that in vanity. Because if challenged, he or she as the governor will be compelled to represent that budget. And this time around, there are implications. If you fail to do that, the funds standing to the credit of the local government constituting the state will be withheld. So that is the second implication. The third implication is that we are not very certain what now amounts to defection. In other words, is it sufficient to describe the fact of defection when a people publicly denounce the party that sponsors them to power, holds public ceremonies, press conferences, indicating the fact that they have defected? What the Supreme Court judgment has said is no. You can only talk of defection effectively and effectually if you who makes that allegation is able to persuade the courts by way of concrete evidence that these persons alleged to have defected have their names and details in the registry or register of the new political party or the party to which they have defected, and that same party has issued to them the requisite membership cards showing that they are now members and they attend their meetings and attend their programs. And that is the only way by which you can establish defection in the circumstance. So these are the takeaways and by extension, the implications of that judgment.
All right,
that's where we are.
Okay, so another issue again that seems to be at the in the front burner is the fact that there are speculations that the governor of the state might go through an impeachment process. Do you see that happening? Well,
impeachment, if you use the word appropriately, the removal of an executive governor it's not an offense, it's not an aberration. It is actually an integral part of the democratization effort. And except that it is advised to be used sparingly, because it causes some fundamental significant distortion that can, distort the progress of the state. So the conditions and factors that can lead to the removal of a governor are well known, but it is largely dependent on what the legislature, the legislative house of the state, describes as gross misconduct. And the Constitution did not in its wisdom, did not properly characterize what amounts to gross misconduct. But very clearly, once they come to the conclusion that the transgressions of the governor have amounted to impeachable offences, they can kickstart the prosecution in the State House of Assembly by, of course, issuing the governors the requisite notice of allegation, stating out the offences that he or she is alleged to have committed, giving him the opportunity to respond, and so on and so forth. So we've heard about it. It has always been on the table. Don't forget, this whole thing is the fallout of a very bitter contestation between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his political godfather, Governor Wike, who has refused, unjustifiably in my view, to leave the governor to perform the functions of his office. And if you recall, before you ran me off, if you recall, this whole wahala started just about a fortnight after Governor Fubara was sworn in as the executive governor of Rivers State.
All right. I mean, for some people, they feel that the governor, maybe from the get-go of this whole political drama, was ill-advised legally in terms of the steps he has taken. As a lawyer, do you think likewise?
Well, if at the end of the day, you now begin to... Let's be clear, this is not just a legal issue. It is more political than legal, in my view. The judiciary has been brought into it to resolve intractable disputation between politicians, and of course, when there is a matter in court, there must be a victim, there must be a vanquish. So it depends on the balance of power and the interface of political forces that mediated through that particular disputation. At the end of the day, you could have judgment, you may not have justice. You can also have justice without a proper judgment. So it is neither here nor there. The issue is that what is happening in Rivers State blows no one any good wind. And the earlier they began to trace back their steps and refocus Rivers State as a political entity for the benefit of the people of Rivers State and not the political gladiators and actors, the better for them. So, in my view, I would have thought that they have tested their power, both the protagonists and this time around the victims. They have seen that for almost 2 years now, it has become practically impossible for a government to move into governance after politics. And that should have been enough for those who are stoking the embers of this whole crisis to say, look, at this point, it is clear that we have secured the kind of mandates that we want. We have also gotten from the court the kind of judicial interpretation of what is happening. And it is time to allow peace to reign, just so that we can deal with the issues of governance and not let the people to continue to suffer because of private interest and self-aggrandizement.
All right. Well, let me leave you for a moment and bring in Darlington Nwauju, is the APC spokesperson, Rivers State. Darlington, thank you for joining the program.
Good evening, Dapo. Thanks for having me.
All right, Darlington. I mean, before we even get into the crux of the matter, I would like you to clear the air on some issues as regards, will I call it, the leadership of the party, that's APC in Rivers State. Now,
Yes.
you said that you are the authentic publicity secretary of the APC in the state, or spokesperson, in the state, and that, Tony Okocha and even Nwauju are not, recognized. I would like you to really, put some perspective and clarity to this. What is going on?
Well, again, my name is Nwauju. That's Darlington Nwauju. That's my name.
Okay.
I said so because I would like to give a little background to that information. First of all, we were elected on the 16th of October 2021 in a Congress supervised by the National Secretariat of the party, the APC. And then flowing from that, 2 days later, Mr. Tony Okocha and some group of individuals declared a parallel executive of the party in Rivers State, setting up a parallel secretariat in the name of the party in Rivers State. As if that was not enough, you recall that sometime in 2018, there was a case instituted against the APC Rivers State by one Ibrahim Umar and 22 others, which led to the delisting of our party for the 2019 general election, first in history of Nigeria, where a registered political party would not participate in general elections owing to the fact that members of his fold decided to take it to court. And then fast forward to 2022, after we were elected in 2021, in the build-up to the 2023 elections, another group of individuals, 5 individuals, George Olu and 4 others, went again to court against the APC Rivers State, challenging our delegate primaries, challenging the authenticity of the primaries that produced Pastor Tony Okocha and the rest of our National Assembly and State Assembly candidates. In fact, on the 25th of October 2022, Justice Emmanuel Obile of the Federal High Court sitting in Port Harcourt nullified the primaries that produced all our candidates, setting the stage again for another round of the listing of the All Progressive Congress Rivers State from the general elections. We only got respite on the 15th of December 2022 through the Court of Appeal. And so the same set of individuals who have been sponsoring internal crisis and implosion of the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State are the persons who on the 22nd of November 2023, Abdullahi Ganduje and his National Working Committee decided to recognize by setting up a caretaker committee and purportedly dissolving the validly elected executives of our party. We wrote to the National Secretariat of the party, drawing attention to the fact that whereas the National Executive Committee, the NEC of the party, has powers under Article 13 sub 3B of our Constitution amended on the 26th of March 2022. The NEC has powers to set up caretaker committees for all the other organs or all other layers of the party's structures. Now, but this cannot be so without looking at the combined reading of the Constitution. Because you cannot pick out a particular clause in our Constitution, whether the APC Constitution or the Constitution of the Federal Republic 1999 as amended. Now, Article 21 sub 1, Article 21 sub 2, and Article 21 sub 3 and 4 clearly, in fact, particularly Article 21 sub 3, prescribes the way and manner with which you must discipline members of your political party, not the least officers of the political party. Now, the National Working Committee under Abdullahi Ganduje never, in fact, they decided or they chose to sidestep our own very constitution. And so, because they never did the right thing, we approached the courts, and after 9 months of back and forth, Justice Sika Procure of the Rivers State High Court delivered a judgment on the 12th of August 2024, reaffirming the executives validly elected on October 16, 2021, led by Chief Emeka Beke and I as the publicity secretary of the party. And so as it stands today, no court in the land, no higher court, that is to say the Court of Appeal, has not set aside our election or the decision of Justice Sika Procure. Again, Justice Obumanu Godswill of the State High Court nullified the.
You've given an overview of the legal, will I call it back and forth that has happened. But I'd like to ask you directly. Please hold on.
Today, because we are talking about a constitutional democracy. And in every constitutional democracy, you must respect the rule of law.
Now, may I ask you directly, what do you think, Malam Abdullahi Ganduje has against you, that may have, made him want to truncate your tenure?
Well, the political party is a vehicle, is a multi-purpose vehicle for getting people into power. And so you have a potpourri of interest when it comes to a political party. The elements within the political party are persons, strange bedfellows, if you permit me to say that, with diverse philosophies and interests. And so I wouldn't know, because I do not have any personal issues, no personal angst with any member of the National Working Committee of our party. And so it is for the chairman of our party in Rivers State, Chief Emeka Beke. He has no personal issues with anybody. If the party chooses at any point in time to do the right thing, then those who are founding members who have labored to set up the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State will always follow suit. Let me also mention this by way of a footnote, that some individuals have heard them make arguments, allusions, and utterances that stands in the that flies in that cannot fly in the face of sound reasoning and logic. That in fact, whereas there was a Supreme Court judgment on the 5th day of March 2021 affirming powers of political parties to run its own internal matters or internal affairs.
Darlington, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Darlington,
I understand we need to go on a quick break. Darlington, sorry to interrupt your line of thought. We'll pick up from there, but we need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely continue. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. Now, the New Nigeria People's Party has slammed former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai for claiming that the party received sponsorship from the federal government. This allegation is related to the expulsion of NNPP's former presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso and the suspension of Kano Governor Abba Yusuf. The NNPP's National Secretary, Ogini Olakposi, denied these claims, stating that the party's internal conflicts were the result of Kwankwaso's actions, not external interferences. Olakposi demanded that El-Rufai retract his statement and issue a public apology within 48 hours, or threatening legal action if the apology is not received. According to Olakposi, Kwankwaso and his supporters disregarded internal party procedures leading to the crisis. The NNPP leadership emphasized that the federal government had no role in the party's internal workings and that Kwankwaso's expulsion was a result of his own actions. Well, joining me right now to discuss this is Mr. Ogini Olakposi. He joins me virtually. Thank you for your time, sir. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, of course, we will definitely bring him on. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ. Now, before we move into matters of the NNPP, let's, of course, conclude on the Rivers issue. I still have Darlington of course, joining virtually. Now, Darlington, before we went on that break, you did try to clarify some issues as regards the internal workings within the APC. Just quickly, let's fast track to the, will I call it, rumors about the impeachment process of the governor of the state. As a party, what is your take? What's your stand on the Supreme Court judgment and rumors, on impeachment? Even though we know that Tony Okocha is suggesting that the governor leaves the seat.
I can hear you.
Okay, so just quickly, yes. So from a legal standpoint, From a legal standpoint, if you can hear me, Malachy, what other leverage do you think the governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, has?
As a lawyer, we don't do well with speculations. We do it with facts. Yes, granted that the moves and suggestions and body language have been muted along the line, suggesting that Governor Fubara might be removed as the executive governor of Rivers State. If you just suppose that with the interview granted just yesterday, I imagine, by the former governor of Rivers State and the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, you could see that that might be in the offing. Now, like I said, that is still within the realm of speculation. Factually speaking, I had responded earlier when I said that there is nothing untoward about removing a governor. As a matter of fact, it is a deliberate and an integral aspect of our democratization effort, with a view to guaranteeing in favor of the people that where you have a governor who is no longer living up to expectation or abusing the powers of his office or involved in other transgressions that makes governance difficult in the particular state that he governs, then the people through the legislative house are empowered to remove that governor. So there is nothing, at the level of the philosophy and principle of removal of governor that is wrong. What is utterly wrong and awfully inappropriate is where that same power to remove has not just been politicized, but dispensed with in a manner that satisfies just the political actors, to further to just give that outright legitimization as people who have power to do what they're doing. So, as it stands, Governor Fubara has traveled a long route in getting to the point where he is. There is the need to move even faster than he has been doing in the past.
All right.
Either by way of balancing the aggression that is at play at the moment, or asserting what is the remainder powers that he has in a way to mobilize the state towards avoiding what is happening now.
All right.
Give or take, it doesn't look very well for him. That is very unfortunate.
All right, Malachy, let me bring in Darlington. And Darlington, just like what I asked you earlier, I asked from, the standpoint of the All Progressives Congress, what's your take on the Supreme Court judgment and rumors about will I call it impeachment or removal of the governor as an opposition party?
Well, our stand is that there is a pronouncement of court. And as far as there is a pronouncement of court, everybody, every institution, no matter highly placed, must obey it. And we are aware of the fact that the governor has climbed down his high horse to entreat, or if you like, to exhibit some level of rapprochement to the House of Assembly under Martin Samewule, as recognized by the Supreme Court. Do not also forget the fact that the issue of the legal status of the 27 members is still an issue of morality. There is still a sort of Damako, morally speaking, there is something on the neck of these individuals. And so the governor, having made these moves, in fact, I learned yesterday he wrote another letter asking the assembly to permit him come make the representation as requested and as ordered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And so there are a whole lot of issues to talk about, but of course, time is not always our friend when during broadcast programming. So there are complex issues that need to be explained carefully so that your viewers will understand that there is more.
I mean, talking about time,
than meet the eyes. Let me tell you this quickly.
Okay.
Yes, Dapo.
I mean, talking about time, because we have less than 5 minutes right now. Right now, according to you...
I wanted to...
Please finish. I want you to land.
Okay, yes. I said I wanted to mention quickly the fact that there has been a measure of inconsistency when it comes to addressing issues with this set of lawmakers, with the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Look, during the 8th Assembly, in 2015, Martin Samuel was the majority leader of the Rivers State House of Assembly. In fact, he was one that proposed the bill for the recognition of Sir Celestine Omeya against a standing Supreme Court judgment which recognized Rotimi Amaechi as elected governor of Rivers State in the eyes of the law. That was the Supreme Court decision of October 25, 2007. Now, the House of Assembly, wherein Martin Samuel was a majority leader, proposed a bill on the 30th of June 2015 to recognize Celestine Omeya as governor of Rivers State with all our entitlement, privileges, and benefits. And the accruals to that was 695 million naira of the taxpayers' money belonging to Rivers people, was paid to Celestine Omeya. And 7 years later, the same House of Assembly with Martin Samuel as a majority leader came again to tell Rivers people that they erred in law by making a bill to recognize Celestine Omeya. Now, it was politically correct for them to do so by that time, and that led to the de-recognition of Celestine Omeya. So you see, this set of individuals have been inconsistent, and there's one thing with consistency. Consistency has, to his credit, excellence and sincerity.
Okay.
And once you are not consistent, there will always be a trail of insincerity going with you. And you
okay, Darlington, just quickly, because we need to wrap up. Quickly, Darlington, I'd like you to listen. Quickly, because we need to wrap up. So as of now, I mean, you got there's a court judgment, which of course you got, substantiating the fact that you are the official spokesperson for the APC in Rivers State. So I just want to ask you, point blank, as of now, what is the status of Tony Okocha and Chibuike Ikenga, as regards APC in Rivers State? What is their status?
The status of these individuals as clearly prescribed by the courts of the land is that they have no rights whatsoever to parade themselves as executives of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State or anywhere in Nigeria. That is what the court has said. And until a higher court says otherwise, it remains so. So you cannot be blowing hot and cold. You cannot, in the instance case where the Supreme Court has ordered the governor of Rivers State to represent the budget, you are making noise about it, calling for impeachment of the governor. Whereas in the matter where the court has sacked you, the court has dissolved the purported congresses that produced you, you have failed to respect and obey the orders of God. So
all right, thank you, Darlington. Because we need to go. Darlington, we need to go. Thank you so much. In 30 seconds, Malachy, your final thoughts.
My final thought is to identify the place of the people of Rivers State in all of this political mix and to give concrete expression to their needs and desire by moderating the escalated temperature, political temperature of Rivers State. That way, the people will see the benefit of democracy and not self-aggrandizement as is going on now.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time on the program. Malachy Ugwummadu is a legal practitioner and former president of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. And also Darlington Nwauju is the APC spokesperson, Rivers State. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Before we go, let me say greetings to Comrade Malachy, I was groomed by the Committee for Defense of Human Rights.
All right, it's yes. Great once again having you, gentlemen. All right, sir. All right, now this is where, of course, we drop the curtains on today's episode. In case you missed out, you can actually catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also choose to follow us on social media with the same handle. If you're watching Go TV, we're on channel 23. You can catch us there, and you can choose to follow me personally at Dakbo, at Degboye. Until I come your way again, good night.